Hey there, welcome back to Wounds and Wisdom, a secret space for truth, tenderness, soulful growth, and remembering who you truly are. Today, we continue Season 3, The Becoming. This episode is for the part of you who wants to be consistent but feels ashamed when you can't. For the part of you who sets intentions yet collapses under the weight of perfection. For the version of you who is tired of breaking promises to yourself and calling it failure. This episode is about discipline, but not the punishing kind that we grew up with. Not the harsh voices in our head. Not the professionalism we all mistook for self-control. Not the shame that told us they will never change. And today, we explore discipline as devotion, discipline as tenderness, discipline as a way of saying, I matter enough to show up for myself. Because confidence is built through safety. Purpose is built through resonance. But self-trust is built through the smallest promises you keep gently again and again. Before we talk about sacred discipline, we need to honor the wound underneath it. Most people don't struggle with discipline. They struggle with what discipline once cost them. So if you grow up with punishment disguised as guidance, criticism disguised as motivation, perfectionism disguised as love, pressure disguised as support, affection tied to performance, caretaking that earn belonging, failure treated as a character flaw, then discipline becomes fused with shame. In childhood, discipline wasn't about growth. It was about avoiding rejection. The nervous system learned fast if mistake means losing safety, I must avoid that at all costs. So instead of developing healthy discipline, we develop hypervigilance around doing things right. Freeze responses when expectations felt high. Perfectionism to prevent punishment. Over responsibility to earn their approval. Shut down when tasks felt overwhelming. This is not laziness. This is trauma logic. And here is the truth most people never get to hear. Your body wasn't resisting growth. Your body was resisting the harm. When shame enters the developing nervous system, it interrupts the brain pathways responsible for self-efficacy, planning, initiation, follow through. So your ability to take control collapses, not because you are undisciplined, but because your nervous system learned that trying is dangerous. Being imperfect is dangerous. Being visible while I am learning is dangerous. So adulthood shows up like procrastination triggered by fear, no apathy, collapse triggered by overwhelm, not weakness. Inconsistency triggered by self-protection, not failure. Setting big goals and then avoiding them because they feel like emotional landmines? Yeah. Your body remembers the sting of hearing you are so disappointed. You should be farther by now. Why can you ever follow through? These weren't just painful moments. They were formative wiring. And here is the truth we claim in Season 3. Discipline is not a test of worthiness. It is a relationship. A relationship with your nervous system, your capacity, your inner child, your future self. Discipline is not a punishment. Discipline is care. Trauma-informed psychology teaches us something essential. Motivation is not mindset. Motivation is a state. When the nervous system is deregulated, it blocks the very skills discipline requires. Focus, planning, problem solving, emotional regulation, sustained effort. Fight pushes you hard, burns you out, and then drops you. Flight makes you avoid everything that feels overwhelming. Freeze shuts down the initiation. Fun makes you abandon your goals to support others. And none of these responses happen because you lack discipline. They happen because your body is trying to protect you from past shame, from past pressure, and from past punishment. Neuroscience shows that shame reduces dopamine, the neurotransmitter responsible for motivation. So the harder you shame yourself, less motivated you become. So shame is like pulling the emergency brake on your nervous system. And we all know that no car moves forward in that state. What actually supports sustainable discipline? We will need regulation. We will need compassion. We need autonomy. We need those tiny steps that our systems can trust. We need clarity. We need emotional safety. Our nervous system does not respond to force. It responds to gentleness. Discipline becomes sacred when it shifts from proving my worth to tending to my becoming. There is a moment in healing when discipline stops feeling like pressure and it actually starts feeling like reverence. A moment when you realize I don't show up because I am afraid of failing. I show up because I trust who I am becoming. So discipline becomes choosing yourself, honoring your needs, protecting your energy, tending to your future with care, then showing up for yourself. Stop being a performance and it start being a love language. And a sacred discipline is rarely dramatic. So you drink water before you scroll. You stretch instead of numbing. You sit down and can write an honest sentence. You just take a pause to breathe before reacting. You rest before you rupture. And those are not small things. Those are acts of self-trust. Those are the moments where your body realizes you're no longer abandoning yourself. Your inner child learns you won't shame them for struggling. Your future self feels supported. So your identity shifts from I always fail into I return to myself gently every time. And my friends, consistency, it is not perfection. Consistency is returning. Self-trust strengthens through devotion, not pressure, not punishment, and definitely not performance. But it will do through steady tending, like a flame that grows because you fed it gently. Place one hand over your chest. Feel the warmth of your own touch. Let your shoulders soften. Take a slow inhale and even a slower exhale. Ask yourself softly, what is one small promise I can keep today that will help me trust myself a little more? We don't need five. We don't need a whole new routine. Just one. Because when it comes to sacred discipline, small is holy. Small is sustainable. Small is safe. Once you choose your promise, then say inwardly, I keep this promise with gentleness. Not pressure, not punishment, not perfection, just devotion. Let your body absorb it. If you would like, please reflect on the following prompts sometime this week. How was discipline modeled to me growing up? When did discipline begin to feel like shame instead of support? What tiny promises help me feel grounded and honorable towards myself? What parts of my life are calling for a gentler consistency? What becomes possible when discipline is devotion instead of pressure? Let your truth rise without force. You could repeat with me or just let them settle. I am allowed to show up imperfectly. My consistency grows with compassion, not pressure. I keep small promises that build real trust. Discipline is the way I honor myself. I do not shame myself into growth. I rise through devotion, one gentle step at a time. My self-trust strengthens every time I choose myself. Let them land softly. Thank you for being here with us today, learning how to keep our promises to our own selves. This is Wounds and Wisdom, where your pain isn't shameful, it's sacred. Where your healing isn't linear, it's luminous. If this episode helped you notice your own becoming, share it with someone who may need this reminder. And if you feel called, please subscribe to keep growing with us. And remember, you are not healing or becoming alone. We are doing this together. Until next time, be gentle with your soul.